Pixel art is without a doubt one of the best graphic styles in the world. It's lightweight, it fits perfectly with any game genre, and even old pixel art games are still totally playable today, which makes them amazing to enjoy on Android. As you've already seen in the title, today we're talking about the best offline pixel art games how will available on the Play Store. And trust me, you're going to be surprised by how good these games look, so drop a like and let's jump right in. One of the best offline games to come out recently is this little simulation gem called Tales of BLOOMRISE. Imagine a game where you live two different routines, one peaceful inside the village where you build relationships and take part in daily life, and another more adventurous one, diving into dungeons, fighting enemies, solving mysteries and pushing the story forward. It's a perfect blend of village life simulation and dungeon action RPG. For anyone who loves indie and retro vibes, and values both gameplay mechanics and aesthetics, this one's truly promising. The story of that Tales of BLOOMRISE centers around Reimowen and the village of BLOOMRISE. Rei is the main character, an adventurer tasked with protecting the village. At first, BLOOMRISE seems peaceful, but the ruins and ancient secrets nearby suggest there's a hidden threat or a mystery behind all that calm. A roguelike style game, but with a twist. It mixes action, horror, and a cast of fascinating characters. Let's talk about Lovecraft, Untold Stories. It's an action roguelite with RPG elements featuring procedurally generated levels inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. You can choose from 5 unique characters, each with their own combat style, weapons and attributes, like a detective, a witch, a thief, a professor, and even a non-human creature, a ghoul. While the gameplay might seem simple at first, it's the eerie atmosphere and haunting narrative that keep you hooked. The game also features a sanity system. Every time you uncover forbidden secrets or dive deeper into Lovecraft's mythology, your mind begins to slip into madness. Between intense combat, narrative events, and hidden clues, you'll find yourself questioning what's real and what's not. One of the longest and most complex games on our list, but I'm pretty sure you'll end up getting addicted to it. Let's talk about Little Village. You guide your little characters, your main villagers, each with their own potential to grow, work smarter, faster, and develop new skills. There's farming, cooking meals to keep everyone in good spirits, and managing the daily rhythm of the village. Little Village is an indie game with a calm and relaxing vibe. It focused more on building and lifestyle than on combat or high-stress challenges. What really makes it stand out is the complexity behind building a well-organized town. You're in charge of everything. It feels like a mix between SimCity and The Sims. The main loop is simple yet addictive. Build assigned tasks, expand the village, decorate, and take care of your villagers' mood and efficiency. Definitely one of the best and oldest tower defense games on Android. There are plenty of others in this style out there, and we're going to talk about them all, but this one is called Kingdom Rush. Developed by Ironhide Game Studio, it's the very first title in a franchise that later brought us Kingdom Rush Frontiers, Origins, Vengeance. It's a real-time strategy game with an action-packed rhythm. It combines micromanagement, deciding where to place each tower, or with long-term decisions like which upgrades to invest in. The combat is intense yet intuitive, perfect for both casual players and those who want to master every single level. The best part is that it's easy to understand at first, but gets more and more complex as you progress. You place heroes along the paths, upgrade your towers, buy new equipment and skills, and that's what makes it much more than just a regular tower defense game. One of the games that recently made me fall completely in love with it, with such a powerful story. Well, let's talk about INMOST. It's actually an older game, but it finally received its mobile port. Quite late, to be honest. INMOST is a 2D platformer focused on storytelling and atmosphere. You play through 3 different characters, each with their own style and purpose. A regular man facing many puzzles, a little girl solving mysterious challenges, and a knight fighting for his life against terrifying monsters. Each character lives in their own world with a unique pace and mood. The game constantly switches between them to tell one single story, a story that slowly connects piece by piece. The gameplay blends precise platforming, exploration, environmental puzzles, and intense action moments, all wrapped in a deep sense of mystery and sorrow. A game from 2012, Sinomutaka, but of course it eventually got its mobile port, and since it's all done in pixel art, it still looks absolutely perfect to play today. Let's talk about Hyper Light Drifter. It's a 2D action RPG with an isometric perspective and fast technical gameplay. You play as Neil, a lone warrior suffering from a mysterious illness while exploring the ruins of a lost civilization, searching for both a cure and the truth behind it all. The gameplay, without a doubt, is the game's strongest point. Even though it's quite old, it still features impressive combat and movement mechanics that feel like a mix between a roguelike and a more traditional hack and slash when there are no dialogues or written text. Everything is told through visuals, symbols and sound design, creating a constant sense of mystery and unease. A game with a true sandbox story, where you can literally do whatever you want. Let's talk about Heroes Adventures. This is an open world RPG heavily inspired by wuxia, the world of Chinese martial arts, honor and wandering heroes. You start as an ordinary person and a beginner in the martial arts world and grow stronger as you train and learn new techniques and make your own choices. The freedom here is incredible. The game doesn't force you down a single path or main quest. You decide how you want to evolve at mastering swordsmanship, spears, staffs, music or even inner energy techniques. The world is open and full of life, villages, cities, factions and NPCs you can interact with. You don't just fight, you explore, talk and make decisions that truly shape the world around you. One thing I really love is that the entire game is sandbox, and of course it features multiple endings, letting you choose whether to become a bandit or the hero of the world. When this game is almost like a can of soda and was super addictive and impossible to stop once you start. Let's talk about FORAGER. You begin on a small island with only basic tools. You'll mine rocks, chop down trees, gather plants and fight off enemies. And since resources constantly respawn, the game keeps a fast, satisfying pace. As you level up and progress through the skill tree, you unlock new mechanics, automation systems that gather or produce items for you, building construction and new islands to buy and expand your territory. So the game starts out really simple. I'm just your little character standing on a square of land, but as you learn and progress, you literally become a god. There's also light combat, different enemies, a few weapons and upgrades, but the focus is much more on progression and collection than on pure action. The hardest part about FORAGER is knowing when to stop playing. Elemental World is simply perfect for anyone who loves a good HEARTH roguelike but wants a gameplay experience that feels a little different. You can choose from several classes by me like Amin and Badge, Ainina and Hunter at Jans, so Lamisalaronin and Wuru, each with their own playstyle. One of the coolest features is the element combination system. You can mix up to 3 elements out of 6 available to unleash incredibly powerful spells. The environment itself can be used strategically. You can burn grass, freeze puddles, or blow up barrels, and all of these interact with the combat mechanics in fun and creative ways. Even though it's an offline game, there's also a co-op mode where you can play together with a friend. There are some optional in-game purchases, but you can easily enjoy the full experience without spending a thing. Even with its simple look, Elemental World manages to be exciting, addictive, and genuinely fun to play. Another very new game on the Play Store, this one is dark and mysterious. Let's talk about DECARNATION. The gameplay combines exploration, puzzle solving, and various mini-games involving rhythm, reflexes, and logic. There are also moments of action and sequences where you need to avoid monsters or navigate through dangerous environments. The setting shifts between 2 different worlds, the real world of the protagonist and a dreamlike psychological one where her fears and traumas take form. This duality keeps the gameplay dynamic, constantly changing style and pace. The story takes place in Paris 1990. Gloria is a cabaret dancer whose career and personal life are falling apart. She accepts a mysterious offer from a sponsor, setting off a series of deeply disturbing events. I'd say this is a horror game, but not the modern jump scare heavy kind. It's that classic story-driven type of horror with great characters and a truly unsettling atmosphere. One of those old school RPGs on Android, completely unknown to most players, but luckily I brought it here for you. Let's talk about Crimson Hearth. The game was originally released around 2014 but ended up being forgotten by its developer and possibly even shut down. However, something must have happened because it made a full comeback in 2025 and it's better than ever. One of the coolest things about it is how it keeps the charm of classic mobile games. It's completely offline even though there are a few in-game purchases available, like there's no gacha system or flashy character skins either. It's all focused on gameplay and story. The game is entirely story driven, which makes it even more enjoyable, and best of all, it's incredibly lightweight so it runs smoothly on any type of phone. One of the best RPGs with roguelike elements in the world, not just on Android, and it's fully available for your device. Let's talk about Children of MORTRA. It's It's an action RPG with roguelite and roguelike elements, where you play not as a single hero, but as an entire family of heroes. The gameplay combines procedurally generated dungeon exploration, battles against hordes of enemies and bosses, and the progression of both individual characters and the family as a whole. Even though it's a roguelike, many people think it doesn't have much of a story, but it actually does, and it's quite interesting. It develops naturally as you progress through the roguelike mechanics that define the game's structure. There's also a progression system outside the dungeons, family upgrades, permanent improvements, new abilities, and characters that you unlock as you move forward. The game also supports local co-op and later added online multiplayer through updates, perfect for playing with a friend. A game that completely flips things around, and this time you play as the monster and your goal is to eliminate every human that crosses your path. Let's talk about CARRION. You control an amorphous creature of unknown origin that escapes from containment, infiltrates a laboratory, and devours or destroys everything in its way to unleash its revenge. You can move freely across walls, ceilings, and tunnels. The creature crawls like a mass of tentacles. As you progress, the creature evolves, gaining new abilities, growing in size, and changing form to overcome obstacles or face stronger enemies. Some examples include shooting webs, turning invisible, or taking on new shapes. Even though the story isn't particularly deep or complex, there's something incredibly satisfying about tearing through every human that stands in your way. The revenge starts to feel almost personal, and that's what makes CARRION so unique. One of the best offline game releases of the year simply because of how much there is to do in it. Let's talk about BLOOMTOWN, a different story. This is a narrative JRPG with turn-based combat plus monster taming mechanics and even life simulation and social elements. You play as Emily, a 12-year-old girl, and her younger brother Chester, who spend their summer vacation in the quiet town of BLOOMTOWN, a place that seems peaceful at first but soon reveals something dark beneath the surface. In the town, you can take part in everyday activities like working at the grocery store, exercising, or gardening, but at the same time, you'll be exploring a demonic underworld hidden behind the town's calm appearance. The battles are traditional turn-based fights against demons, but of course the game offers much more than that, and that's exactly what makes this little gem so special. Well, this game is pretty unknown and would probably never show up for you on the Play Store unless you typed its name directly. It's called Bamboo Warriors. The story takes place somewhere surrounded by trees and dense vegetation. That's pretty much all we know about the setting. Many soldiers are invading your homeland, killing your people, and stealing everything. That's when your character puts on the mask of the Bamboo Warrior and strikes back. In the game, you'll need to sabotage enemy bases and take down every soldier that crosses your path. It might sound simple, but the game has a surprisingly solid mechanic. The bamboo, as you can see, works like a spear that you can teleport to, giving the gameplay an amazing dynamic. It's relatively simple but incredibly addictive and completely free to play. Let's wrap things up with a game that feels just like The Legend of Zelda, but with a different name, of course. Let's talk about AIROHEARTH. You play as the titular hero, AIROHEARTH, whose mission is to stop the evil plans of his brother, who seeks to unleash an ancient evil using the Druid Stone. The combat happens in real time, which is surprising at first, since the graphics and overall retro look might make you expect a turn-based system. It's an open-world adventure with beautiful pixel art visuals, a top-down perspective, and classic dungeon exploration filled with puzzles, traps, and new abilities that unlock more areas as you progress. Even though the story is relatively simple, the game shines with its engaging gameplay, clever puzzles, and old-school boss battles that perfectly capture that nostalgic charm. And that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this list. Let me know in the comments which of these games you like the most and which one you're going to try first. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.